Representative Noble, I appreciate you working with Representative Howard on the amendment that you took to this bill. I do think it makes it slightly more constitutionally palatable. To the extent that we've, as you and Representative Wu just said, we've stripped the city of the anti-SLAPP protection. So we understand, under your bill, are there any defenses available to an organization or a city from these accusations that they're assisting or aiding someone in crossing state lines for the purpose of an abortion?
I didn't hear part of what she said. I apologize. I really didn't hear part of what you said.
Members, please take your conversations outside the rails.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Noble, understanding that your bill expressly strips these entities of the defense of anti-SLAPP and religious protections, what defenses are available to organizations accused of violating this law?
Again, we're not talking about organizations. We're talking specifically of cities who violate the law as we pass it. And our goal always in this room is to have our laws followed when we pass them, and not for a city to just find another loophole or another perceived loophole. So that's why this one is so clear, and that's why we felt like that we needed to make the penalties so clear, is because we don't want them just finding yet another perceived loophole.
And I do agree with you. The penalties are clear, but are there any defenses enumerated in your bill for cities?
I am not advised.
Okay.
I have not looked at that entire code.
There are none. What specifically is the burden of proof now of the Attorney General to prove once he or she has lodged an accusation like this against a city?
To my understanding, it's the preponderance of the evidence.
A preponderance of the evidence of again, what intent? You understand that your bill...
You know, I'm not an attorney, nor do I play one on TV, and I'm also not a judge. And so I'm assuming that your questions would be better served in a courtroom should this ever need to come to a courtroom. But I don't believe it will, because I believe that it's so clear that the cities will comply, and that your arguments will be unneeded and unnecessary.
Are you aware that your bill does not enumerate any specific mens rea or intent on behalf of a city to allegedly be in violation of this law?
That would be between them and the court and the Attorney General.
So again, what is in your opinion, based on the way you've written this, or you've agreed to carry the language in this bill, what specifically does the Attorney General have to prove to show that a city has violated this bill? Would you like someone else to answer for you? Or?
No, I'm not an attorney, so I'm just making sure I'm not messing up on this. I believe that any normal American can read this bill and know clearly the intent of it and be able to avoid violation of it very, very easily. And of course, that is our goal.
You'd agree with me that your bill does not enumerate any intent or mens rea whatsoever?
I am not going to agree with you on that. My bill is very clearly what it is, and I want, and again, the goal is to have cities who do not use taxpayer funds in order to transport women out of state to do a procedure that is not allowed in Texas.
So your goal is specifically...
By the way, this is civil. You do realize that. This is a civil remedy,
I
not criminal.
I thought you weren't an attorney. Did you just
I'm not. Somebody just told me that. So
an attorney did tell you that. Okay.
They're so helpful, and I love these guys.
Okay. Again, understanding that, so we are creating a new separate cause of action for the Attorney General to enforce. Is that correct? I know you're not an attorney.
As written.
As written.
And it was my understanding, I guess earlier in our discussions with even you and I have had, and I and a number of your colleagues have had, that the Republican Party in general is highly adverse to creating new causes of action. Is there any reason that you've made an exception for that in this case?
Yes, because we don't want to be litigious. But when a city decides to so very clearly circumvent what was you weren't here yet, the very, very clear intent of a law that we passed in the '86 legislature, it's time to get a little bit more stern, and that's what we have done,
in protecting women and protecting taxpayers' rights. correct?
protecting taxpayer rights.
So are you aware that earlier, I guess even this month, there was a proposed legislation on this floor to create a cause of action for a woman who was denied the right to breastfeed?
I'm sorry, are you talking about a different bill than
I'm talking
this
about
one?
causes of action
No,
in this
no,
bill. And in general, you and multiple colleagues
Members,
voted
please keep your
against.
remarks on the bill.
that
Not-
right.
I am not going to discuss other bills while we're talking about this one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I move passage.